Hello everybody, today I will explain you about protocol in Swiss programming language. That it is a feature in programming language that you can call in Java interface, also in VB.NET it's called interface. So in Swiss it's called protocol. That it is very useful for target. Okay, let's go ahead. I will explain you more about protocol. Okay. In Swiss programming language, protocols are basically a name construct that your class can conform to. And if your class say to it conform to equatable, then it better fulfill all of the required functionality to make it equatable. There are others similar to interface in C# or Java, also VB.NET, and they list out the function prototype and variable declaration, as well as stating whether they are required or optional but don't actually do anything. It is up to class struct or enumeration that claim to conform to the protocol to actually provide the functionality. And how to define a protocol. The protocol is pretty easy, and it is very much like defining a class in Swiss, except you write protocol instead of serve. And okay, you can create a file that you can use to make a protocol. I can rename it to protocol. Okay, here, protocol. And how to define a protocol? It's very easy. Just you write a keyword protocol. Yeah. And here put the name of protocol. And here the function and property prototype go here. And I put you can put on the protocol name as your task, like your task. And for me, I just put protocol as function manager, like that, and function is so data here, yeah, like that. Here this is basically to defining a protocol, and then you just fill it with what you want. Protocol adoption by class struct and enumeration. In Swiss, when you declare a class, if you want it to have a subclass, you follow the class name with a colon and then the name of that subclass. If you want it then to conform to some protocol, you then follow that subclass with a comma and then the name of the protocol. In my opinion, this makes it less obviously what is the subclass and what is the protocol. Nonetheless, the current way to adopt protocol is shown here, like that. You can do that. Assume me create a class and put my class is user and my subclass is okay. Now I put a class user and I'm create another class by shop. Sorry, by customer and it stands from user class here, and here this is a protocol that we can implement by that, yeah, and that function that we declare in the protocol is required. You declare that is required function. Okay, now you just put show data like that. It will, you cannot show the error, yeah, like that. Okay, declaring requirement. Now that we have the protocol subnet, we now need to write what the protocol requires. This can be either property or method like this. If you put the property here, you will declare, you will implement that property in here. You can access here. And protocol property. Firstly, property in protocol must always be variable and cannot be constant. This doesn't mean that they must all be writable, but as far as the declaration, they must be var in the protocol. In switch 1.1, constant must have their value given when they are created. So this makes sense because protocol cannot implement that. Only give it a name, type, and list of compatibility. And switch 1.2 has changed some of this rule about the constant, but they not seem to have changed the requirement for protocol so far. To determine whether it is writable or not, you append either get and set or only get. As like that, you can do like that. Var number as manager in, and you can put here get only. Here is just read only, and you can declare position like that by string. You can put get and set. Here is a read and write. Okay, like that. If you put like that, you need to implement that class that implement this protocol. This does not necessarily mean they have to be var inside the class that implement them through sort. It just has to be able to do what is requested. If you want number as manager to be settable inside the class, then you can use var as it requests here. However, it is just a constant defined only one, a let constant that we use in actual class, since it fulfills the get capability. The position property is get and set, so it must be settable. Then source must be a var in a class that conform to this protocol. One more thing is protocol method. As mentioned it before, to define a method in protocol, just define it prototype, just the first line with the name, parameter, and return type. For a simple method, you can define like this, or you can define like the also function. And here this is the set salary, and here the salary as measure is salary, and in this by double, and return type double also, and the function cannot help the body. Okay, like that you can declare a method protocol, and there is a caveat. Those class are reference type. When you assign a reference type to a new variable, you just pass a reference to that instance of it. So if you change the first variable that instance was assigned to, you will change what the both variables are connected to. When you assign a value type to a new variable, the whole thing is copied to put their struct and enumeration value type. If you want to actually change member variable of the struct, you must preset a function with the keyword mutating. If you want your protocol to work on value and reference type and mutating and stand variable, you must add mutating to the protocol method prototype. Like you can do that. You can do this by put mutating function working like that. You do not need to mutating before function that mutate member variable in the class. Why you must write mutating in your protocol? If you want to work with class struct and enumeration, you do not actually have to write mutating before the function actual implementation if you are writing a class. You still have to do for the struct and enumeration through. One more thing is require an optional element in protocol. First thing first, by default in-space anything in a protocol is required. If you just do what you seen easy in this tutorial, you will have made those property and method required. You have to try to make them optional. Both have pros and cons. Irrelevant of which way you do it through. You can call them with optional chaining. Since the whole point is user may not have implemented them, you have to know if they are valid in some fashion. So you can trade either way, like a switch optional to know UTC star protocol optional requirement. This is the re-implementation of the classic way to make a protocol requirement optional. You have to do two things. Preset your protocol declaration with @sign with objc, and preset your function or variable declaration with optional like this. Okay, like I create optional protocol. You can just put @sign objc and protocol, and the name protocol optional protocol, like that. Yeah, so you can use optional keyword on property by number in, and you can set to get and set also like that. When it is declared like this, if your class implement the optional protocol, it does not have a mention an important number anywhere. It can if you think it should be, but they just should not have to. There are some caveats to this sort. I did say if your class implement this on purpose. If you use assign objc, it must be a class. You cannot use an objc protocol for enumeration or struct in Swiss. This is not only place you ever use assign objc. I don't want to get into it much here, but it generally tells the compiler that what you declare is available to use in Objective-C code. Unfortunately, thought you have to use it in protocol for optional requirement, even if you don't touch Objective-C. Okay, and one more thing with style protocol optional requirement. So you have to trade this optional requirement with Swiss optional syntax anyway. Why not use Swiss optional? If you do this way, you do not need to use the assign objc at the beginning. So you can still use your protocol for struct and enumeration. The downside is that your class struct enumeration must implement it, but can just declare it as an optional and just leave it set to nil. You will just create your required optional requirement by this way. Okay, in Swiss you can create a protocol optional by put protocol, the name of protocol, I just put Swiss protocol like that, and you can put var something, a string, and put a question mark and get and set like that, and the method is do something a plus n and return type to string like that, and put a question mark. Here is optional protocol that have property optional and also method optional that you can use with struct and enumeration in Swiss. In this case, the function you do have to implement it, but you can just have it return here. If you have a function without return value, you can just leave the function body blank. When implementing it, it is inelegant, but it is another way to have optional functionality in protocol that let you just stay in the land of Swiss and not how to break its functionality with struct and enumeration. And all code in this tutorial was tested again in Playground in Xcode 7.3. There are definitely more aspects about protocol in Swiss to talk about, but I feel these were the most important. With this, you can create them, implement them, and make some requirement optional. They are quite useful when you want to decoupling your code from requiring a specific class. If you want to compare different values, you could have multiple methods like compare string, compare int, compare double, or you could just use the equal, double equal operator. The quotable protocol requires that the class implement that operator. And so, and hope you understand about that. Okay, and protocol is defined in the blueprint of method, property, and other requirements that solve a particular task or piece of functionality. Okay, thank you for watching. If you have any question, you can leave me all comment below this video, or you can comment on my Facebook page, also my website. Thank you. Good luck.
បែកគ្នាយូរហើយមិញបែរបងមកនៅណាអូ